day, everyone, and welcome to a Fastman Spotlight. I'm Brian Lapointe, joined by Renita Day, who's an expert ECM consultant from Fastman, our professional services team. And today we'll be speaking about several valuable Content Suite business scenarios that leverage our DocuSign e-signature and bridge connectors. The intent of today's session is really to share a few high-impact best practices so as to inspire the Content Suite community to realize greater value from their OpenText investments. In general, we have found that most organizations are already using DocuSign, within their organization, whether it's in the HR, sales, legal, your business operations departments. And we find by adding DocuSign e-signature integration, customers improve their records management hygiene, and they also increase the utilization of the information platform overall. Over the next few months, we're looking forward to hosting more of these valuable sessions and spotlighting more successful deployments so as just to share the best practices with the Content Suite and extended ECM community. Okay, so most OpenText users already know Fastman for our popular Permissions Manager and our Bulk Data Manager products. However, today, like I said, we're going to focus in on two other products from Fastman, and that specifically is our DocuSign connector for OpenText Content Suite and our Bridge connector. As the name suggests, the DocuSign connector is an advanced integration between Content Suite and DocuSign eSignature Cloud. Not only does it offer the most feature-rich functionality, such as ad hoc signing, and predefined DocuSign templates. There's a workflow activity. The DocuSign anchor tags can be placed into your documents too. But it's also what DocuSign considers a registered integration, which takes it to another level of functionality. So and another thing that it does is you don't need to deal with the pain of certifying and maintaining your custom DocuSign integrated keys. This saves you time and money. You can also connect multiple DocuSign accounts to a single instance of Content Suite, which is commonly needed in scenarios where, let's say, the HR department runs its own separate DocuSign account from sales or from the operations department. The Fastman connector can connect multiple DocuSign accounts to a single instance of Content Suite, which is not always the case in other scenarios that you may be investigating. Further, the Bridge connector is ideal for orchestrating repeatable business processes within Content Suite, driven from a dashboard. This could be a managed move of content related to some form of a submittal, or maybe there's an organizational restructuring requiring a new taxonomy of the Content Suite system, and you need to move content and break it up and basically index it. Coming up, we'll show you these solutions in action. We have some real life scenarios and demonstrations we'll show too. So, Renita, you're on the call with me. Thank you for coming. Would you like to introduce yourself and add any thoughts about these Fastman solutions that you may have?
Sure, thanks Brian, and hi everyone. I'm Pranita and I've been around like 14 years with OpenText ECM products and implementing them for business around the world, right? So the two products that we are looking into, the Bridge Connector and DocuSign, in my experience with it, is very easy to install, very flexible, and they cater to a wide variety of use cases that you can automate in various scenarios within your organization. And we'll look into some of them today, right? So Brian, take away and let's get started with
Thank you for that. Thanks for the introduction there. Yeah, that was great. So next up, let's just take a look at how these solutions came to market. The original OpenText connector was released for essentially the on-premise DocuSign signature appliance back in 2015, so several years ago. And at that time, it was actually known by another company that developed it called ARX Cosign was the lineage. And it was originally, and then it became acquired by DocuSign. At the time, the connector supported Content Suite version 10.5 for the folks that have been around a while, and it ran in the classic UI, of course, as that's how that worked then. Then later on, we added support for the DocuSign e-signature cloud solution. And this basically, provided Content Suite function menu access from both the classic and the Smart UI. We added in the configurable Fastman signature profiles, and they were enhanced to provide just greater control over your business process when it came to signing. And as you can imagine, this really just broadened the number of customer use cases as e-signature adoption was rapidly growing at this time. Due to customer demand, Fastman also became a direct reseller and a distributor for DocuSign. We're able to sell DocuSign subscriptions to our customers. This was important because it provides the ability to deliver a bundled solution of the e-signature subscription with the connector and any know-how to deliver the outcome people are looking for. Today, we essentially actively provide e-signature expertise to a growing customer base worldwide. On this, you know what I find, on the surface, e-signature always seems very simple. Everybody wants it, but it gets complicated very quickly when you have multiple use cases. You start talking about data residency. Every country has different legal requirements. Business processes have different legal requirements. It gets very complicated very quickly. And this is why we work closely with DocuSign as the e-signature leader. And it's essentially the most trusted by mid and large enterprises that are out there today. Moving along on the journey here, the Fastman Bridge connector was introduced in 2020 as an outcome from a customer engagement that required process orchestration driven from a dashboard. And they already had, and they wanted integration because in the process they needed to use the permissions manager from Fastman along with the bulk data manager solution that we had for updating metadata on documents in Content Suite. Essentially, the customer had performed a legacy document migration into Content Suite like several years before and basically needed to restructure that taxonomy and make it useful for the customers or for their end users on the information platform. And this is where the managed move capabilities were used to define the process for the records movement and the proper updates to make the content relevant and useful to them in their organization. So and then here we are coming up to today, through just continuous improvement and customer feedback, these connectors, specifically the DocuSign connector, is known to be the most advanced one out there. As previously mentioned, it's a registered integration with DocuSign, and it delivers a rich set of configurable functionality, and it helps you deliver on the outcomes that you need to when you're having to deploy this integrated to the Content Suite. It takes a lot of time and frustration out of the process by using that connector. And, as we move forward, next up, Fastman is what we're doing, and we're even starting it off today, is introducing several business process scenarios that customers can add to their own Content Suite deployments, enhanced by some of these Fastman solutions. And what we can do is we'll offer expertise and consulting on a project basis around it, or again, we're sharing off some of these best practices that you can just deploy in your own organization. And we're going to illustrate those in the next few slides here coming up. So as I talked about those scenarios, here they are. So let's talk a little bit about them. We have in the procure to pay family, we have a vendor onboarding scenario, contract lifecycle scenario, work order approval, and even a popular litigation hold scenario that we're going to introduce. And then in the employee management, there's offer letter approval, employee file creation, along with the document collection process. Another one would be the annual review and salary revisions scenario. So now what we're doing is taking some of the know-how and developing the best practices, and we're going to share these blueprints out with the community. And maybe I'll hand this off to Renita at this point. You've been working really hard on these scenarios, I know, and basically sharing your thoughts and best practices. Is there anything else you'd like to say about these or some of the other ones you're working on?
Okay, sure. Thank you, Brian. I think that procure to pay and employee management is good scenarios that we have, very focused scenarios, but it can be used in various other use cases as well, like in logistics for tracking your shipments, and then using the bridge connector as a process orchestration to find where you're tracking number is, right? In which process it is stuck. And then during this process, if you really need to get some signatures, you can request that as well. And then organization-wide restructuring are very common within organization these days, and not even like when it is a restructuring happening. Uh, Sometimes it is required to move your taxonomy around as well, right? And it can be just for general hygiene of your content server, or because your business is changing. So in both the cases, I think we can really use bridge connector and the DocuSign connector. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for
Please go
that. So
ahead.
maybe take us through a little more of a deep dive on this scenario.
Yes. Yes, so this is our HR management for hiring process, right? And uh, I know that like each organization have their own hiring process which they follow, but one process that gonna remain constant is rolling out your offer letters. That's not gonna change, right? And over here, what we have is a recruitment team member is going to upload the prepared hiring letter into content server. So your retention, your document management starts from that point onwards, right? And then we have profiles in our DocuSign connector. So they can be connected with classification and categories of document, or even location, right? So over here we have configured a workflow from a DocuSign profile, which can get started on the hiring document. And then once they start the workflow, it can be routed as part of the content server workflow to a hiring manager. They can review the document which was prepared by the recruitment team, and then they can start the signing process. So first the hiring manager signs it himself or herself, and then it gets routed to the new hire. So they have reviewed the document before it has been rolled out to the actual new hire. They sign it, so when it goes to the new hire, they know it's a legitimate document, and then they provide their signature. Once that is completed, the final copy, the signed copy, is sent back to the workflow. And then as a workflow designer, I can choose myself what I need to do with it. In this case, maybe on a joining date, I would like to kind of like create the employee workspace, right? Once the workspace is created, my retention is set. I have an employee record, and then the document is there for me. So a very clean approach in how the hiring process can be streamlined using the content server workflows and using DocuSign to get the signature. And then once the hire is done, you need to ask the new hire to sign another set of documents like the NDAs, the agreement, the tech policies. So many things are there, right? And you need them for record keeping purposes. So use the workflow, use the workspace, and then add documents and keep it as per the retention policy of your company. So everyone wins.
Very nice, very nice. Let's move along. Hey, we got another scenario here to talk about the restructuring one, right?
Process sometime or later. And here we have like a organization going a high level of restructuring. So here we have taken an example of an account payable team which has asset, revenue, expense payable underneath them, right? But as the organization is growing, sometimes the departments have to be separated out because their load is also increasing, right? So here we have the expense payable team moving out. So now my taxonomy is going to change, right? Because I do need to follow my org unit to some level to define my CIS models as well. When these sort of restructuring happen, one important thing is not only is your content going to move, you will have new permissions which will come into place, right? Because you don't want the old team members to have access to the documents which have moved to a different department. So using the bridge connector, we can combine all these things together. We can take care of the moment, we can take care of adding any new categories during the moment. If it was not classified earlier, you would like to reclassify it again, and then there are possibilities of applying RM on them as well. So the whole process can be orchestrated with different steps. Each step can be defined to a different user so that you have a very clear sense of ownership. And then when the team members are also moving, as we have shown in the team member changes, like if one person is moving from one team to another, the ownership at document or folder level can be changed using Permission Manager. So it brings together all the good features of PDM, Permission Manager in the bridge connector process, and then dashboard gives you a good idea where your process is right now, and then you can take it further, right? So not only reorg, it can be for reorganizing your taxonomy, CIS model, anything which is repeatable and which you would like to have as part of a defined process.
Very good. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
One more, I think we have this one, and then you have a little demonstration too for us, I believe.
Yes. Okay, so this is quite interesting because vendor onboarding is a painful process for most organizations, right? And you have to ask the vendor a set of questions when you're onboarding them, and they are going to give you a bunch of documents back, and you have to then ask them again to fill another set of documents. So it's a time consuming process, and then you need sometimes digital signatures on the documents they are filling in because of legal purposes as well. So here what we have done is we have an early creation of a vendor workspace. So your SRM team can start the process from there. They do that, they select the document from a document template that we have defined in DocuSign and we have designed in DocuSign. So we bring the goodness of DocuSign templates into Content Server. And then we start the process there. We send the document to the vendor's POC to fill the form, upload documents, provide you certificates or licenses, whatever you need. And then once they complete the document, it comes back to your company. Someone from the SRM team can review them and then sign it back saying that, hey, this guy is all good to get onboarded. And then the document gets saved back into the vendor workspace. And then you can have your RM classifications already in there so that it's very easy to apply the retention, and then anyone who is there in the organization can search it, whether it's the procurement team or your procure to pay team or your master data team, right? So very easy, and we are going to have a look at this scenario for our demonstration as well.
Okay, let's do the demonstration then.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. It is there. Okay, so I'm going to just log in. And I am very interested in Smart UI, so I'm just going to go into Smart UI for now. And okay, so this can be my taxonomy. I am interested as part of the SRM process as part of procurement, so I have my vendor over here. Now I've already started the process and it's in different stages for the demo, so I'm going to just show you how the screens are going to look. Let's say this is my vendor workspace. I have designed the taxonomy based on the company code. I have an early creation of a vendor here, and I go in, and this is my vendor workspace. I have a look around. These are my onboarding documents, so you can see that nothing is present right now. I click on the add button, and then you can see here the option add from DocuSign template. Now this is gonna bring out all the templates that you have defined in your DocuSign, which you did yourself or which were shared to you, right? So a very easy way in which it comes into Content Server. You can define who would be the recipient. So I have like two recipients here. First is the vendor. I'm going to put just a test account here. And oops. And the second one is the company representative. That would be myself. So Renita Day and Fastman. And you can see the subject line and the message has come through as well. Uh, if I want, I can update it. If not, I can leave it as is. And then the recipients were also defined in DocuSign template, and I'm just bringing them over here, and then I just define who the recipients will be. And once I'm happy with this form, I will click on click initiate. What this will do is it will submit the envelope in background for DocuSign, and DocuSign will take care of notifying your recipients that they have a document to sign. So I'll go and I'll not click on this initiate button because I've already started a few workflows. Here I am logged in as a vendor representative, and you can see that I have received an email from DocuSign giving me the link to the document, the subject line that was put in the template, and then the email body here. And I do have a link to click on review documents. Once I do that, it is going to redirect me to the wizard, and the wizard is going to guide me in filling up the form. So you can see over here I have multiple things. I have the company name, this is a text field, and then I have the phone number here. It is a field which is validated as well for a valid phone number pattern. If I do a mistake, it's going to show me that it's not proper. I can have the address, and then the state, and then the zip code, which is again validated for a 5-digit number. If it is 6-digit, it's going to give me an error, right? So you can ask your vendor to fill the information that you need as part of the onboarding process. And then you can see there are attachments as well, which can be uploaded by the vendor to provide you the documents that you need during the onboarding. So you have the catalog, you have the certificates, you can ask them to upload their W-9s, and then if you have a need to get their license copy, you can do it. You can see this upload is optional. And then you have the sign button here. And interestingly, I have used 2 documents here for the upload. One is the onboarding form, and another is an NDA document. So when I designed the template, I kind of like uploaded 2 files in it because I know most of my vendors have to sign 2 things. And then I asked them to fill the NDA as well, right? So it is going to minimize your to and fro from the customer because you have given them all the documents that you need from the very start. You do this, you finish the document, is then routed to the second person, which is the company representative. So I'm going to just go back to my email, and then I have my DocuSign workflow here. So this is the email that I have received after the vendor has completed their process. I click on it, it will start the same wizard. I can view the information that was filled in, and then it will ask me to fill information from my end. So I'll sign it. I may need to add a date for the agreement to start, and then maybe the company, and then I go back and I sign it, and the file gets uploaded, right? So I finish this off, and then within a few seconds what would happen is the document will be completed and it will be uploaded back into Content Server. So one important thing is whenever the document signing is completed, all the recipients will get an email notification saying that the process has been completed, and then the actual forms or files which were uploaded in the template along with the attachments that were added in will all be part of the document. I'll also open the final copy over here. This is the page that will get uploaded into Content Suite. You can see here that it has all the signatures in. You can validate them here, and then the 2 forms and the attachments that were added in. It will also have the certificate of completion for audit purposes so that you can have a look at them at a later point of time, and then you can validate the signatures as well here from the signature panel. So I'm going to show you a quick example of the file here. So let's see, manager, I'll go to procurement, vendor, and I've already completed one for you guys. So over here you can see onboarding, and you can see the document coming in. So it will inherit any RM classification you've applied on the boarding part, and then what will happen is already part of the retention schedule that you have defined. So it makes the process very easy. You can request for as many documents as you want, and then you can ask them to, in one go fill all the information that you need. So yeah.
Very nice. Very good. Very good. So I guess, there was a lot of moving parts going on right there, Renita. So I guess the question, how much effort was that for you to put that together? Was there any custom coding required? What did it take?
Oh, I didn't code at all for this one, right? And it was a matter of hours to set things up from DocuSign as well as from OpenText. It was configurations that you had to look in, like how would I set my taxonomy, which is part of like the extended ECM setup, and then how do I connect my signers. And that was it. It was very easy for me to kind of like even create the forms, define the NDAs, what kind of attachments I would need. And DocuSign is good in what they do, OpenText is good in ECM. So it's like combining the best use cases of both of them, and then having a solid process flow in place.
That's a good point. That's a good point about using the products for what they're good at, and you really have workflows within workflows, and it looks like a business analyst could do the DocuSign configuration work, right?
Oh, yeah. If I were, I don't need to be a developer to do this. I can be like a business admin or a content suite admin, and then I'll sit with the business user. Obviously, the flow is going to be different for each organization, right? So I'll sit with them, probably understand what they are, and maybe just do a little bit on the call with them, right? So I get constant feedback when I'm doing it, and I know the process is right from the first moment. So it's that easy.
Yeah, perfect. And I think the connector really helps on that too, because it really takes out custom coding and so forth. You got a lot of flexibility you can configure on the fly as needed. Yeah.
Right. So in this use case, we use templates. In the other one, we use profiles, and even profiles had a ton of use cases and good features.
Right. Okay. I think we're almost done then, it sounds like. And just maybe we get I'll take the wrap up piece here if you like, Renita. And just a little bit about Fastman for folks who are not as familiar with us, but we've been around the OpenText community as an OpenText partner, services partner, since 2006. The company hails from Melbourne, Australia, but we have offices worldwide. We really hang our hat on 3 partnerships. The OpenText one is obviously our premier flagship partnership that we have. We're also an SAP partner. We have several solutions in their app store, and we're a DocuSign partner, as I mentioned too. We're a silver partner with DocuSign. We not only do we have integrations, but we're able to resell the subscription service, whether that's as a distributor or a reseller mode and so forth. Here's our product suite that we're displaying here. Permissions Manager is our flagship product and the most popular add-on, along with our bulk data manager for Content Suite. As I mentioned, no matter where you reside, we do have a worldwide customer base, not only in North America and down in Australia, but many customers in Europe, Middle East, global, Canada, and so forth. So, again, just to reemphasize, we're focused on solutions for the Content Suite and extended ECM platform. Whether that's on-prem environment or our solutions are certified for cloud, containerization, OT cloud, and look to work with you folks out there. So thank you for attending today. Renita, thank you for all your hard work. And maybe if you want to move on to the next slide, Renita, we'll just say thank you and goodbye. Thank you, everyone.